I just paid attention, to everybody that said anything when they came up there. All you guys, and by the way, all of you did a beautiful job. I want to give you a hand there. So proud of Tyrone. Tyrone was probably the last real good player that I was. We had some really good, but he was exceptional, and that we had a chance to coach, and then. Of course, Derek here presenting him, that makes me proud, it really does. And Derek was the kind of guy that had to guard all the good players in practice. Remember there, about 3 years in a row he did that, and helped us win, and just to see, those guys still have that good relationship. Of course, Tyrone eating up all my desserts and everything. The big thing, though, I was so blessed to be here so long, and it wasn't a job. It really wasn't. In fact, my mother-in-law, she used to say, she had 4 son-in-laws that worked and one that coached. And you're all right. Randy and Will and I, they probably ought not to have paid us. But we took it anyway. And if you still like me after all the stuff that Stacy told over there, I figured there was a chance I might make it through there. These things, I've been coming to them for a long time. This Hall of Fame stuff. Coach Malt was one of the big people to get us started. We didn't have a Hall of Fame when I came to Concord. And I didn't necessarily have a lot to do with starting, but Coach Malt really pushed, and he finally conned Coach Christie into it, and we got started with this thing. And Coach Osborne will tell you, we knew some folks at some other colleges, and they told us, don't do it. Whatever you do, don't get in this Hall of Fame stuff. He said, this thing makes as many people mad as it does glad. There's all the time somebody saying, well, how did he get in there? Must be some kind of political deal. And so you got to put some thought into this. Okay, you really do. The great thing about us at Concord, we had so many deserving people that hadn't had a chance to be recognized. And it has really been a blessing to be a part of it. Now, I didn't vote on myself. I want you all to know that. I did not vote on myself. I recused myself, and I did not vote on myself, but I did appreciate getting in because, man, I had so many buddies in there and so many of my players, and I just wanted to be like a part of it and enjoy them. Now, another thing that I liked about what all the guys were saying, you notice how many people they mentioned about their experiences at Concord, and it wasn't always like other football players or other basketball players, but it was people from other sports. It was Libby at the cafeteria. She never talked like that to me now. In fact, I eat free there a lot, I can say now. She told me one time they were kind of watching us, and she said, "Now we'll have to pay this time." And I said, "Well, we're still yet ahead of them." She said, "They can't catch up." Okay. But Coach Johnson, his first job here, he was in security, and everybody wants to get a ticket fixed or something, And but one of the things that we pushed, I know I talked to our players, and it's obvious that these guys all did it. Hey, when you're at a college, you need to make friends with the cooks, the secretaries, the custodians, and the security, for God's sake. Right, Rob, there? You need to... Rob was the one that perfected this move. He was on full restrictions. Full restrictions meant it's kind of like house arrest. You could go to practice, you could go to the cafeteria, you could go to class, right? You weren't supposed to go to the game room. That's one of the places you weren't supposed to go. We had a guy watch that game room right smart, didn't he, Rob? Pretty close. Mr. Skeet, I believe. And so what Rob would do, Tracy would tell us the truth, is Rob would be looking around, he'd see Mr. Skeet eyeballing him over there, and he'd start for the door. He'd start for the game room door. And it'd be like this. And then he'd stop. That poor man still got a twitch now. I saw him the other day. And it's your fault, too. But, there were just so many people. I know some of these guys here got their degree because Mr. Mall, he worked with them, and he in the registrar's office. Of course, Carolyn now, there's more people. They don't really call me anymore. They just call her, not only for dessert, but they want a transcript or something. We were going to the playoff football game in Minnesota, and Griffin called me wanting a transcript. I told him, we got this thing now, man. You can just hit like a button there, and you know, you can get it. So, but you know, Carolyn always helped a lot of them too. But people in different offices took an interest in the kids, and that was a big thing. And you remember that kind of stuff, you really do. And you know, with me, when I first came here, I'd been at Salem as a student. Well, wasn't a college athlete because Christy cut me. Okay. And, you know, I don't want to, you know, act like it's still a sore subject. But I did tell my wife, if I apply for this job, I'd say, he ain't going to cut me again. I'll tell you that much. But no, he was just such a great person in my life. And Dale Dickens and Gene that are here tonight, you know, Dale was, he's in our Hall of Fame, and deservedly so. He was the admission director at Salem. And he came down to Bristol High School. By the way, I was going to say this. How many of you guys who are in here were at the Hall of Fame thing when Harry Finkelman talked? How many of you? Well, good then. Because Harry, he started in the first grade. And he talked about his teachers in the first grade and the second grade. And you know, he went to college a long time. Well, I'm going to skip the grade school years. And I'm going to skip middle school, and I'm just going to go right to the outlaw years, basically. And but Mr. Dickens gave me an academic scholarship. I was at Bristol High School, and I was salutatorian now, number 2. So the number 2 tries harder. There were 40 kids in the class, and he gave me a scholarship there, and that's what I'm going to Salem. And I used to leave my books and stuff in his office because I was walking back and forth. Coach Johnson, he had some boys. He had a couple of boys, but anyhow, I kind of grew up with those guys, and then. When I got to be the head coach, they were my assistants. And actually, Will, I probably coached with Will in some capacity, Lord, Will, 30-some years. And then, of course, Coach Jennings was my first assistant. Whatever little bit of success we had, those guys deserve the biggest part of the credit for. They weren't really assistants. We just kind of did it together. You know, we kind of coached together. And I want to thank them, best friends in the world right there, those 2 guys. When I got to be the head coach, man, I inherited a tremendous team. Good Lord. I mean, because Christie, if he'd have kept it, he would have won every bit as many games as I was able to win. That bunch right there, that was with the Ron Ward team. You know, we heard Brian and talking about Ron. You know, Robert, the only game that Ron Ward was ever thrown out of at Concord was a football game. You know, we worked the chains, you know, chain gang, ball boy. We used to paint the field. Sometimes they're straight, some of them were straight. But we painted the field, and Ron, in fact, didn't he stay in the room with you, Coach Mullet?
Yeah, he used my refrigerator.
Yeah, they had some kind of deal over there. They stayed in the summertime. But anyhow, but Roe wanted to he'd have Coach Mullet's phone over there and everything. Because Coach would kind of go off in that twilight zone when he'd get the gagging over there and stuff, you know. And the Roe would be running up and down the sideline, talking stuff. And I think Wesleyan game was the game he got thrown out of, you know, because we're trying to. They had this rule, you know, you get thrown out of a game, you had to sit the next game. Of course, we were saying, hey, we don't want Ron thrown out of the next basketball game. You know? So we had to work out, take his suspension out during football season or something. But that team was such an ungodly team. 3 guys on that team scored over 2,000 points in their career. Think about that. And gosh, we won a lot of games. We won tournaments. Went to the national tournament. And you know, that group there was really special. And some of them are here tonight. And I'd like for us saying, I know Todd Lusk, best 3-point shooter we ever had, Ron Ward. Anybody else off your guys' group? Stand up if you would, please. I want you all to be recognized back there. Ron and Todd. I got to tell you something else. I got some balls. You know, they'll give you these balls if you win a championship and you get everybody on the team to sign it. It's a keepsake, memento, right? Can't put a price tag on it.
Right.
I looked at one last night. I think it was 1991. Won the championship. You know whose name was on that ball? Rob Major. For those of you who don't know that, he never played basketball. All right? That's why Mr. Skeet was looking out for you. Dropped a dime on you after I saw that. But no, hey. And you know, I was really lucky as we went along in the 90s. Man, we had some other really good teams. Won the championship again in 95. Had a couple freshmen on that team that ended up playing a lot. John Griffin and James Doyle. And then when they got to be juniors, we had a guy transferred to us from Virginia Tech. He was a guy that it took him a long time to make up his mind. We only recruited him for 3 years. And his name was Kelly Mann. And thought he was going to come in the summertime, but then he got a chance to take a trip to Europe with Virginia Tech. And so I said, we'll go ahead and go, you know, and then you'll know when you get back if you want to stay at Virginia Tech, if you want to come to Concord. So he called me Sunday night. The school started Monday, okay, and said, yeah, I think I'm going to come. I said, well, come on. But anyhow, that group there, great, won tournaments. We finished in the final. We had 2 teams that finished in the final, I guess 16, Sweet 16 in the nation. And so some of those guys are here tonight. James Doyle got the all-time shot block record for Division II. Kelly Mann and John, you guys stand up here right quick. Let's get There's old Big Doyle there. 6'9", 168 pounds when he came to Concord. I mean, crazy. And I remember looking at him there and Randy said, my God, you know, somebody ought to kill him. And the boy could block shots. Man, he could block shots. And I talked to his daddy and I said, well, what was a typical game for Doyle in high school? Oh, he said, he didn't score a whole lot. He said, you know, 10, 12 points. He said about 15 rebounds, about 10 block shots. Is that some truth, too? 4,000 a technical. Best scouting report I ever had. That was the truth, too. Sometimes he'd get that technical before we got to 4 fouls. But no, those guys, and they're great friends and stuff today. Of course, and I don't want to look, because I tell you, players, I will say this. Coach Christie told me one time a valuable lesson. Players are more important than coaches. If you don't have players, you can coach until you're blue in the face, and ain't nobody there going to know anything about it. Coach Christie, I refer to him a lot, and he's my mentor, my buddy, and he's passed on now. I miss him terrible. But he had a game one time, he told me, where he thought he had a good team. The other team showed up, and you might know some of these players. Probably not the same name. Somebody might be related to this coach. But anyway, this other team was good. And when they got to the gym, he went over and talked to the coach like Dr. B said, you know, talk to the coach. Coach was drunk, okay? And so he tried to talk. He could tell the guy didn't know what was going on. So the players took him over and set him on the bench. They go in and get dressed, come back out, start warming up, you know, got their tape player. When they got ready to start the game, they moved the coach down, and they have a big center on the team. He put himself in the game, he set the lineup. They went in. So coach said he's down there, Coach Christie, he's coaching, man, hard. He looks up there, these guys are killing him. I mean, killing him. And he's looking down, and this dude that's down there is winning the game has a towel over his head. After the game's over, Coach said he's depressed. I mean, he's at the low point of his life, you know. And he sees these players come out. They get a hold of the old man. They reach in his pocket, get the meal money. Give all the kids the meal money, put it in the car, and he went home. That guy's probably in somebody's Hall of Fame right now. And, you know, hey. So anyhow, players, more important than coaching. If you don't have good players, you ain't going to be able to coach. But now I will say this. I was blessed at Concord to have a lot of good players. And not only, and there's another guy, you know, Randy doesn't think that I had any good players after he quit coaching. Did he with? And he's got this deal with Doyle where he's gathering up players. Now these dudes are 50 years old now. I mean, they can't play. But he's got his team and they're going to play Doyle's team. How many years did he give you, Doyle, to pick players?
We can still do it.
5 to 10, and he's got like 30 years. And of course, he's going to take Will and Ron and all that kind of stuff, you know. But hey, we had some other good players, and coming down the stretch, several of them in the Hall of Fame. Brian Atkins, 4-time All-Conference. Lewis Muse, All-American, leading scorer in the nation. And Tyrone right here, I just want to say this, you know, he was the second leading scorer in the nation, and the guy that beat him out for the Conference Player of the Year by 1 vote was a guy named Ted Scott, a good player, played at West Virginia State, but he wasn't as good a player as Tyrone was. He didn't do all the things that Tyrone did, and so I was blessed with good players right down the line. When it came time to decide about this, I almost forgot. I've done this different times. I've given these speeches and never even recognized my family or anything. So I'm going to stop right quick. And I have got my mother here. Someone asked me how old she was. I said, well, first I got to stop and think how old I am. 82? Yeah, see, 83. But my mother, Mary Alice Cox, right here, person never had better support. You ask these guys, they eat a lot of pepperoni rolls and stuff, you know, from up there. I've got my sister here, Becky. I have 2 other sisters. One of them couldn't come because her son was in had an athletic banquet himself. I got 3 beautiful daughters, and they all went to Concord at one time or another. And just want to introduce them right quick. You've already heard about Stacy. She was the last one. Jill, stand up now, girls. Jill, she's a teacher at Concord now. And then Laura over there, so people in this room, she's pulled their teeth. Okay, she's a dentist. But great girls, all right? I lucked out on this son-in-law deal too, because you guys know that's kind of iffy. This son-in-law stuff can go either way. And but I lucked out on that deal too. One of them was my manager for 4 years, best manager I ever had. And I will have to say one thing, Dr. Pease, I wasn't the only one washing them clothes. Now, I was down there. That's what I told them at home, that I was washing clothes. But I did have some help. Now, Randy and Will, and of course, Gary. When Gary was my manager, he did everything. And then Jed Nolan, my other son-in-law, and man, I got the prettiest grandkids. And I know I'm prejudiced about it, but I got 5 grandchildren. And if they're not the prettiest things you ever saw, you just don't know. Anyhow, just have them stand up back there and we'll give them a quick hand there. Stand up, kids. People are always asking you, do you miss it? Do you miss it? And I honestly don't miss the coaching. I had my day, I had my time, but I miss the coaches. I miss the coaches, and I miss talking to the players, the old players. I even miss some of the referees, and we were talking about Griffin, found that guy at the end of that Fairmont game, and one of the officials said he went blind, he didn't see nothing, and then one guy was going to call a foul, but we had an official there that said no, happened after the horn went off first, right? George Pack, I'll never forget him. I love him to this day. And their coach went down and tore everything off the score table. You remember that? Threw everything out on the floor and stuff. But I miss some of the officials, miss some of the other coaches. And but these guys, Kent and them, they try to get me to sit on the bench. But I tried that like one game there. But there's a fella stands up and walks up and down in front of you the whole time. And I think he's the coach. But you can't watch a game like that. And I don't want to coach the game. Basketball, I want to watch the game. So they do let me talk on the radio a little bit. And then I have one other thing. Is Coach Justice here? I saw Coach Price. Guys, we had a tremendous football team this year. We were 13-0, okay? We won our first 2 playoff games. We went to the Final Four in the nation. I'm supposed to be coaching the kickers, okay? Randy tells me it's under investigation, all right? Because I'm supposed to be coaching the kickers and I'm up there talking on the radio, all right? Coach Justice told me, just come down there for warm-up, we'll see how they're doing. So, but we have Coach Price here. It's our defensive coordinator, and they have let me I'm supposed to be coaching the kickers. I asked Coach Justice, I said, does it matter if you don't know anything about it? And he said, not really, because he said they didn't even have one last year. You know, he said, basically, we're just trying to find out what happens to them for about an hour and a half there. They kick like crazy at the beginning, and then you don't see them for an hour and a half. Nobody knows where they're at. So that's basically, I just babysit the kickers. We talk. You know, they need somebody to talk to. We talk. And I tell you what, I got one going to make All-American. Yeah. You think about that. And the coach up here whispers. Andy Ellington kicked 252 yards this year. Kicked a big kick for us in the playoffs. I have enjoyed that. I'm going to say one last thing and I'll quit. When we used to go to the tournament, Randy and them remember this. That freshman year, we won the tournament. 1979. Had Will, Big Will's MVP. People were playing the Country Boy Can't Survive and everything, you know. And so we went along, and when Randy and them got to be seniors, we made another run. And we had a guy named Tracy Poindexter, a wonderful player. And so my sisters and them, they fixed me up a tape, motivational tape, and had some singing on there. And that was another thing. They used to get on me for country music. Now, you know, now everybody just listens to, you know, you can't hear what anybody else is listening to. But they all got something, you know, hooked up. But with me, you know, then we would take turns playing tapes, different kind of tapes. And Kenny Rogers had a song, and it was called Let's Go Out in a Blaze of Glory. Wasn't that it, Randy? Let's go out in a blaze of glory. You say, let's go out in a blaze of glory. All good things must end. But like two heroes in a story, let's go out like we came in a blaze of glory. And that's how I feel about it.